Good evening, guys. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Wednesday night gold trade. Hope everybody's doing well. We're going to try and add a little bit of NQ today, see if we can trade a little bit of NQ as well on Ola. We are trading with Ola Prime, one of our favorite CFD brokers. The discount is ridiculous right now. They're offering 45% off, so please take a look at the link. If you guys want the Ola Prime challenges, please take them. And as I said, I make this offer every night. If you want the special tool that I made for MT5 to be able to trade all these challenges, it's all yours for free. All you got to do is just simply get the challenge, and I give you the tool. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How's everybody doing? Sound check, mic check, everything good? Let me know if you guys hear me okay. Market's a little quiet this Asia session. Not really much going on the break here. The first hour has really been tight. Gold at kind of session highs right over here, but not a, I mean, I love to buy it from the low to the high. I don't like to buy it at the high here. Most of the day, gold was actually sort of very lackluster. You see, what do we have? We had the highs, 31. 31 was pretty much the, let me just see. Well, we had a big drop actually from 10 o'clock. We dropped from 50s all the way down to 10s. Wow, it was a big drop. And then we just spent the rest of the day recovering. It really feels like actually, I want to be short, not long gold right now. At these session highs. But honestly, I don't have really any read. The rally from 6 o'clock, from 6 p.m. was already pretty significant. We had about 4, 5, 6, 7 dots, and I'm not really vibing the. What I really want to do here, the only trade that I would want to do here in gold is if I get a 3 red bar decline, somewhere like maybe around to the VWAP level, 1, 2, 3 consecutives. That's a great trade. Really works well in terms of the bounce back trade. But until I kind of get that, I really don't have anything to do here on the gold side. Nasdaq, similar story, just very quick. Nasdaq just continues its highs. I mean, it's looking to test this 24,400, but I think beyond that, that's going to be it's going to run into a little bit of a profit taking mode here. It's natural for it to profit take it around the 400 level. So I'm also going to be looking to see if I could, either buy the retrace, 3 red dots and buy that, 3 red candles and buy that, or maybe sell into the move through the 400s to 410s, and see if I could get a position over there against that. So that's pretty much it on my view on Nasdaq. I don't have anything else. I don't have anything else to do here. How are you guys doing? Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. How was your trade? We had a great trade in Power Hour today. See, Nasdaq is just really inching towards that 400 level, and I think I could probably take like a little bit of a probative trade. Let's just take the great thing about having small size is we can come down a little bit, right? So let's just initiate a small sell here. Oh, wait, hold on. I got to change my stops and targets. Is this the right? Let me just make sure I have the right settings here. Is this giving me? Unknown read code. I wonder why I can't do it. It's error 104. Wonder if I could just simply sell it just regularly. Nope. Maybe I can't sell Nasdaq. Interesting. All right, we'll go back to just trading gold. Never mind. We'll just trade. We'll just focus on gold here. Look for gold retraces. I don't know why Nasdaq not working on this particular structure, but we'll just stay with gold. Gold looks a little toppy to me here. All right. Let's now, you know what? I'm gonna stick to my rules of I'm not gonna try to pick tops here because that's always a sucker bet, especially with gold. I'm gonna just wait for 3 red candles in a row. Until I get that, I really don't have a trade in gold. We're just gonna sit here nice and quietly, watch the candles burn here. There's nothing much really to do here, so might as well just hang tight. NASDAQ, as I thought, going to kind of topping out a little bit of the 400, maybe come back down to the 85s, 90s. It's probably going to make another run 8 p.m. Asia time. But this is a big round number. Even if they run through it, I think they're going to come back and run back against it. But we'll see. Let's let them play it out. Gold really, really quiet. Not moving at all right now, right? Buy zone gold at 4,800. Maybe like we have a setup that works really, really well. I'm happy to show this to you. Let me walk you through it. So let me go through replay. Okay, where is this? Where's my VWAP on replay? Why can't I see my VWAP? VWAP is above. Oh, okay. All right, sorry. The VWAP is above here. So in this particular case, I don't have the. Hang on. Let me organize myself a little bit here. Let's do this. I want to do. I want to keep the trend only. So this is all negative, right? So wait, are we positive VWAP? Hang on. Let me just understand this. I guess we're positive VWAP from the open. Okay. So we're positive VWAP from the open. All right. But we've been negative. We've been negative all day long. Okay. So it's hard for me to show you some examples of this. I guess we'll have to go back. Let me go back. I just want to show you the upside ones, and then I can show you the downside ones. All right. So I mean, this is an extreme example. We had last night we had that big burst in gold. Your positive VWAP means gold is above VWAP. This is VWAP, right? This is our trend line. When we're like this much of a buyer, it's very stupid to chase the trade because you're really over the skis. You're so extended to the upside, right? That you're kind of chasing the move all the way out here, and then even if you're right, you have to assume huge amount of risk. So a much more intelligent way to buy to the long side is to what I call the 3 candle drop. 3 red candles. That means 3 candles underneath the SMA in an uptrend. You're buying over here. It's usually a super small risk, right? This is like maybe what $3-4 worth of risk and big bounce of $10. That kind of a trade is just always a really good, clean trade to do in a strong uptrend. Now, I have not really tested this in a downtrend. Like, how does this trade work in a downtrend? But I think it actually does. So here you have a downtrend, and you got 3 green candles to the upside. So it's basically a counter trend trade, and you're selling here against maybe these highs, and boom, very easy trade. here it becomes essentially a trade that doesn't work, but that's fine. It's a small stop out. You probably just stop yourself out on the next higher candle. So $4 or $5 worth of risk on the downside. Here's, 3 candles. Here you have a very, very tight trade, so you really don't have a lot of movement. So 41 comes down to $4 of trade. And here, 1, 2, 3, boom, sell this on a downside. Here you could, it's not as clean and sharp on the upside, because gold. The thing about gold and Nasdaq is they're naturally upward drifting assets, right? They're both in massive uptrends. So the intelligent thing is to buy the retraces from the upside, not to short the rallies from the downside. Only when you have like a very, very significant, decline, is it kind of intelligent to maybe short the rally on a third candle here, right? You need a really big drop to kind of give you confidence. Right now, we're after a whole day's worth of spending ourselves underneath the VWAP, we're above it, drifting higher. I don't want to chase this trade, but if it comes down to like 3 candles down, I'll be a buyer. That's sort of like the whole point. Yeah, gold is absolutely trending up. I just don't want to be chasing it, because you never know, if this is the top, or whether it's going to extend a little bit further. So this is North American highs over here. They generally like to test the North American highs and come back down. There's not much room here, right? There's like only $2, $3 worth of room. So we'll let it be. I'm not going to chase the gold trade right now as it plays out. Brad says that gold is going down because oil is breaking down its head and shoulders pattern to 87. Could be. Hey, Gloria, how are you? Gloria, were you in the afternoon session? We had a really good afternoon session in trade. No. I'm just looking here to see what's going on here. Very, just a super, super quiet trade today, right? I think because everything is in a stall. We're all waiting to see: is it peace? Is it war? What's the geopolitics like? We're all kind of frozen in place. 21st is 6 days away, and everybody's trying to see if there's any kind of kinetic movement. I mean, it's clear that it seems like Iranians are starting to really hurt, but not hurt enough to want to come to the table just yet. So we'll have to see. Let me see how the news flow is very sparse tonight also. Okay, let me see. Ceasefire between Israel expected soon, say Lebanese officials. That's actually interesting. That's actually positive news. So that may be definitely good risk. Yeah, S&P at 7,000 is really, really amazing today. All right, Iranians just keep bullshitting. Eventually, they're either going to cave or not. So, what's interesting is you see how the broader directional view of the asset creates underlying microstructures, right? Like it's a very different trade to sell the rip in gold and Nasdaq than it is to buy the dip, right? Because the asset itself is so biased to the upside. Selling the dip is almost an automatic win. Excuse me, buying the dip. Buying the dip is almost an automatic win. Like we had like 3 or 4 red candle trades during power hour that were just easy money. Like, and I had some more after that. I mean, I don't think I missed. I had one. I did about 10 of those, buy the dip trades today, and only one of them blew me up, and only because again I executed it poorly. Like I came in too early. Had I just it was really really wild markets. So I just mistimed my entry by 5 seconds. But and everybody who came in after me made money. But yeah, I mean that's because the underlying asset is an upward drifting asset, and that's kind of very interesting to understand that it's not equidistant and it's not symmetrical. It's actually very asymmetrical, and you need to understand that just because the long setup works, the short setup won't, even though it's the exact same setup, because of the skew in the overall demand for the product. And gold is the same way. You can say gold is going to correct, and it's coming in because oil is diving and so on and forth. And it's true. There's a correction, but a correction does not mean a trend change. Gold is still universally an uptrend, and trying to sell the rips in gold is a sucker bet. Buying the dips in gold is been a much better trade. Matter of fact, we did this yesterday. We talked about this yesterday, where we were buying. This was, unfortunately, yesterday we were buying in an uptrend. This is buying in a downtrend, which is not really great because this is all below VWAP. But buying in a downtrend, it still wasn't horrible. I mean, you did have a couple of bad clips, but look at this. This is a winner. This is probably a loser because if you bought this, you probably got stopped out for 4. Couple of losers, but then this was a winner. This was a winner. This was a winner. You see how like buying even in a downtrend in gold produces positive results, and that's what's like so interesting about dots. Dots are really, I've kind of began to understand that dots are not they're as much of an art as they are a science. You have to understand when a dot is telling you, like a buy dot sometimes is a very good sell. You got to know when it's a good sell, and a sell dot sometimes is a very good buy. You got to know when it's a good buy. One really valuable insight is if you have right now, we have a whole series of there's probably 8, 9, 10 consecutive green dots, right? This is a very, very old trend. It's almost an hour long, right? These trends generally last 60 minutes to 90 minutes before we get a corrective move. Now, we could wait to see if we get a corrective move, or we could try to just simply, short this a little bit and see if it's going to fall. Because we've got nothing else to do. Let's just take a little bit of a small, tiny. I'm going to come down on this. Oops. And I'm going to sell gold into the rip. I'm selling gold into the rip right now on a very, very small basis because I'm betting that this is the end, not the beginning of an upside trend, right? I'm going to give myself probably around 40, 45 as my stop out zone. If this thing verticalizes there, then I'm clearly wrong, but I'm wrong on a small amount. But if instead of trying to buy this, which I think is the wrong trade because it's very mature, I absolutely would have buy the white dots here, but this is the 5th white dot and the 11th green dot. Now, sometimes you get these trends that are just brutal. They just don't stop. But when you put it all together, the probability of a corrective move here is greater than the probability of an extension move. That's literally all I'm saying to you, right? And that's what's going on. Alines Salazar, what are you doing? You're reposting transmission? Sorry, I wish I could read Spanish. So you see my logic here? The logic is kind of perverse. We're not necessarily buying the momentum dots because it's been a very, very long momentum move. And we're looking for a little bit of a corrective move here. That's really all we're doing. Markets are super, super quiet. Where's everybody tuning in from today? Oh, per New York Post, U.S. Iran talks could resume over the next 2 days. Yeah, that's they've been talking about that for that's been hitting the wires for a while. But it all comes down to whether the Iranians are going to be willing to give up the fissile material, and so far they're not. And I think Trump is right to kind of hold their feet to the fire, because they're trying to wiggle their way out of any way but giving up the nuclear stockpile, right? They're like, we'll dilute it, we'll do this, we'll do that, just trust us. No, Trump is basically starving them out, which is fine. Virginia, USA. Where in Virginia, my friend? Northern or Southern Virginia? I was McLean, Virginia raised, Fairfax County school product. I told you the story, right? That Northern. Where? Well, of course, Northern. Where are you located, Rajesh? Are you in Alexandria? Oh, west of Vienna. Jesus. Vienna, when I was lived in Washington, D.C., was already considered the boondocks. And Roanoke was really the boondocks. Northern Virginia, which is the place where I was raised, suburbs of Washington, D.C., the heart of the government. I was raised in McLean, Virginia, which is the home of the CIA, which is actually next to Langley. So a lot of the kids I went to school with were all kids of spooks. And I was a Russian refugee. So you can imagine how much fun that was during the Cold War. But when I was there, it was just starting to kind of bud as a very, very tony little place. And then I think AOL came in and a whole bunch of technology came into the area. It became not just government, but technology, because technology obviously had all these contracts with government. And the place, I went for my high school's 35-year reunion, and it was insane at how it's boomed. It's just been a total boom. Iowa, Spirit Airlines from Iowa. Nice. Yeah, Dulles Airport is remote. That's right. Dulles Airport was like driving out to a farm. I remember one time my parents were taking Dulles Airport is the airport in DC that does all the international flights. And so let's take a look at our gold, because I'm a little bit short this thing. Is it moving? It's barely moving. So here's a cool thing I want to show you guys. This is the cool thing about this tool. I can sell quarter, go to break even, which I actually just did. That sucks. I should have waited a little. I was just yapping away. But as this thing moves our way, we can actually sell partials and go to break even, right? So now I've sold a quarter. I can sell another quarter if I want to, right? It's a small sizes. There's not much really going on here. And now my position is break even. I've locked in a little bit of profit, And if this thing goes down, great. If it doesn't go down, I have no risk whatsoever in the trade. The ability to kind of sell quarter, or half, or three quarter, such a valuable thing. Every trade I make with you guys when we trade live, I'm using this, these partial exits as my positioning, right? Let's take a look at this. Do I want to? I mean, it's a very, very, very slow climb here. Really slow climb, right? I'm going to take another gander at this sell, like a small sell. I'm going to reestablish the sell position and see if this thing starts cracking down off. The futures are. Oh no, shit! Now it went up. I was wrong. We popped. Okay. Wow, that was a big pop to 45, and then a complete reversal. Interesting. So it's a big, big pop. I guess what is that, 7:30 pop? Was there news? That's interesting. That was a really interesting pop. Okay, I'm going to hang tight just a bit on this thing. Let me see what happens here. All right, let's watch this a little bit. This is like a vertical pop. I'm hoping maybe it's a little bit of a blow-off pop. Yeah, there's nothing to do here. As I said, the really good trade is to wait for the 3-bar retrace. But, I'm bored and just trying to force a few trades as the evening progresses. Oh, yeah, you were long gold before the pop. Good for you. So, you got a nice clean trade. I mean, the trade in gold is definitely long. I just didn't want to chase it right now. And I'm, forcing a kind of a sell on the white dots. But see this big, it was like a really big pop. Somebody swept the ladder and they just brought it back down. Let's see if they can bring it back down. If they take out the highs here, I'll cover it up. It's not a big deal. Tiny little loss. It's fine. But let me just see if they want to take out the highs here. If this was just a sweep that liquidity sweep here that kind of dies out. This is one of those moves we used to call the creeper. Usually you always get about an hour's worth of rally and a corrective mode. But sometimes, and these are very, very dangerous. This is like, shorting the creeper is always really, really stupid. So I'm definitely going to cut myself off if this thing goes through the highs. Sometimes you get these incredibly slow, lull you to sleep continuity trades that are very, very dangerous to short because they never come back. They come back maybe like 2 or 3 hours later when they cleared the 450 and all that area over there. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on this. I don't want to be I'll give up a tiny bit if this doesn't work. But I'm just giving you a little bit of breathing room here. Like I said, the smart trade is for me to wait patiently for the retrace, but I just, I'm forcing. In Asia trade, there is a every 30 minutes injection of liquidity. Yeah, NASDAQ has definitely been like this for a week. Yeah, and it's they're popping it. They're popping it. I think I'm just going to close it. It's not worth it. I'm just going to close all. It's not worth it. We just correct ourselves a little bit, and then we'll reorganize. Not a big deal. Definitely a creeper tonight, and me taking a punt. I covered it up pretty fast. So one of the things that I always have a rule is I try not to buy the third or the fourth dot off the, like if you have a white dot, you got 1, 2, 3 dots. Um, So again, I want to, I covered because I just didn't want to, test the highs. But if this thing does not, if 40, we need to break 44 and hold it in order for this uptrend to stay in place. If they reject this thing, that's could be a little bit of a double, an easy double top trade. So let's watch this carefully. I mean, generally the news is positive risk, so we could have just a creeper rally without much of a correction for a while. So I really should not be fading the moves here. Give it 3 or 4 minutes. Let's see how it trades at the highs. Bernie says he's out of gold. I think you may be right. I'm gonna watch it for a couple more minutes. If you can't clear that high, we're just gonna try and short it again. Probably against the 450 at this point. I'll just put a stop at 450 to see if I have a little bit of a corrective move. But then I actually want to buy gold if it starts to come back down into like the 30s, because that's really the good trade. But yeah, now it's like nothing. All right, let's give it a shot. Small partial in here. We'll do a small partial in here and see what we can do. These candles are so boring. Jesus Christ. They're like less than $1 candles, right? Maybe 2. I miss the days when gold used to do $20 candles. Hey, Tam, how are you? Good evening, guys. We're just chilling. There's really not much to do today. Action is very, very quiet. There's, I should have traded the natural upside bias of gold, but the thing that threw me for a loop was we already had a big rally by the time we joined the move. I didn't know how much it was going to extend, but I should have really, when in doubt, always go long gold, right? And I just went short, just, and ate a few recoveries. That's just generally always a good rule. When in doubt, always go long gold. NASDAQ testing the 26,400. I'm actually watching this. We don't get a chance to trade NASDAQ, but through the 2,600, I think is going to be a corrective move. So gold testing this double top. Now, I'm going to do something that I wanted to do right there. I wanted to sell it at the highs. All right, I'm just going to be patient. I wanted to sell the I thought it would hold the highs at 44s. Let me just be patient here. I wanted to sell that dot, but the dot did not hold, which means that we still need to be patient. If they want to run it, I want to sell it on the dot. Because the main thing here is you don't want when you're selling this stuff, when you're going against trend, you absolutely want to sell at the extreme highs to get the best positioning possible. Because then you can kind of scale into a fade and then take it all back. But if you're selling at the bottom of the spike, you're doing two things bad. You're going against trend and you're not getting the best price. It's a completely different mentality than when you're trading on momentum. Saber says last night it was big moves long and then AM ended reverse move big short. Yeah. I think who's it? Brad? No, Brady. Is kind of right that gold is in a corrective mode, but this is a upside rally in a corrective mode. So I'm not, I'm taking it seriously. NASDAQ's still flirting with that 26,400. I think it's going to bust up. I'm going to try to sell at offer. See if I can get this at offer. That's another great thing about this tool is you could sell at offer, and if it rallies, it'll get you done again into a better position. So this was the liquidity sweep, right? The 43s, and now it's just holding. They're just waiting to see if there's next batch of orders to push it higher, or kind of exhaustion. So far, honestly, there's just no evidence of exhaustion at all. So this thing could easily push higher. There you go. I probably got into the. Did I get myself into this? Yeah, I got myself into the second there. Okay, good. Okay, we got ourselves into a decent position. And now it's just a matter of, if they're going to verticalize against me, they will. There's just this will be my cross to bear today. But I'm basically over here. The idea is I think this is going to exhaust itself before or exhaust itself at the 450. At which point I'll add. My whole idea is I think it's going to exhaust itself max 450. 455 will be my hard stop for everything if this doesn't turn. But it might turn before that. NASDAQ's been teasing 26,400 for the last 10 minutes. Just dead stationary. Again, guys, don't forget, friends at Ola, 45% off. Every one of these challenges comes with my tool set free if you're trading MT5, because obviously the Forex ones are all MT5. So be my guest, go take advantage of it, and I'll be happy to give you the tool so you could manage all these trades like the way I do, partial exits, partial, have all that granularity in the trade. Seeing if there's anything else on the news front, but pretty much no. Today is really the classic definition of a creeper rally. Zero retrace, super slow, every like half a dollar every 3-4 minutes to the upside. Zero sellers, but just kind of very, very small buyers in batches. Very interesting. We break the 400 level in NASDAQ finally. So let's see if there's any continuation on the risk front. It seems to be like a general risk rally here in a very small fashion. Yeah, it looks like gold wants to go to 450. There, I'm going to make my last stand and see if it kind of exhausts itself. I'm going to just scale myself a little bit in here. Sell it offer. Wait, I want to sell it offer. There we go. Okay. See if I get this trade in there. I get myself done. Yep, I'm done. All right. That's my position. We'll see if it wants to come back down on my trades. Shorting the creeper is never a good idea. Today was a good example of me doing that. Does the creeper tell you anything about sentiment-wise? No, it's just, it just tells you that just for now, sentiment is it just tells you there's just no sellers at all. There's just nothing to, there's no large sellers at all. And it's just this slow bleed up, right? Hard to tell if it's just somebody running to the 4850 so they can stop everybody out over there, whether there's just genuine demand or whether it's just sort of slow. I mean, Asia is always positive bid. Start of Asia is always positive bid, so it's always a sucker. Generally, I love to buy from the lows, but the problem was that the lows were before we started, and I hesitated. I should have just simply bought this Next time I'll know. Should have bought this as a starting position, and if it came down, I should have just bought down. The key thing with gold is to always pretty much buy the Asia session because there's clearly always a rally, but then there's always a correction too. And that correction comes in a little bit later. I may not be able to get the correction yet, but we'll see. The first tranche is coming in. I got about 5 more minutes with you guys. We'll see if anything happens here. But otherwise, I'll update you next week on the how the creeper resolved. But generally, my plan is, if it creeps all the way to 55 without any give back, then clearly I'm wrong. I'm just going to call uncle. But for now, I think it might stall out in front of the 50, come back down to the 42s, 43s, and that's going to give me a chance to get out of the whole position. Not the cleanest, best trade in the world, but it is what it is. NASDAQ running through the 400s up to the 420s, which is where I think it's probably going to stall out. So I'm going to, so 40 seconds left. Yeah, I'm going to try to short the highs here. Okay. Oh, where's my, oh, here we go. Sorry, I'm just checking all my stuff here. Very slow, crawling back. See how it develops. But I think, I'm okay ahead of this 450. I think we're going to correct back down to the 45, 42s at least. And, get ourselves done. NASDAQ's coming off too. I shorted a little bit of NASDAQ on the side here. NQ is still going, but I kind of, I sold into that 415 high because I thought, that was like the third or the fourth dot to the upside. Again, this goes very much into the do as I say, not do as I say, not as I do category. But you see, it is starting to come back here. You see, where's my thing? See, it's starting to come back a little bit. Trade is going to slowly seep down. And if it does, I'll be able to cover all of this stuff and take care of the trade. We're finally starting to break down. All right, guys, I got to run. Everybody, tomorrow, 9 o'clock, as always, U.S. session trade. I see you then. I think we may even trade the power hour again because Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, really good times for the power hour. We had a great time. Scalp our hearts away. And I'll see you guys next week for gold trading Tuesday, Wednesday. We're also going to probably trade next week. I'm going to try to corral Sam from Ola Prime. I'm going to try and trade news flow as well, which will be really good. So be sure, as always, to get the Ola Prime discount, 45%. The code is EDGE. I'm going to put the code in here into the chat. Code is EDGE. And get my tool, get my MT5 tool, so you guys can have as much fun as I do, running the trades. It works with anything. It works with Forex. It works with CFDs. It's a full MT5 tool that's applicable to anything. But of course, it's designed specifically for the Ola Prime platform, so you guys can trade prop correctly. Okay, my friends, everybody have a great night. I see everybody tomorrow in the morning. Okay, everybody enjoy. Take care.